Hi, I'm back. I know it's been a little while. I'll explain. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But I am back, and I want to talk about Metal Gear Survive. What a fitting time to come back. You guys probably know I'm not one to usually rant and complain here. I kind of like to just talk about the games I want to talk about. But I want to talk about Metal Gear Survive because I am fascinated by it. It is such a weird game. Now, first and foremost, this is probably not a game I would have picked up and played. I am obviously a big Metal Gear Solid fan. I'm a fucking man-child with the toys behind my back. But I just don't think that it would have been something I would have been down with just because of the way it exists, the reason it exists. I'll get to that. I had to pick up and play a lot of it to make Game Ranks videos, to make the before you buy. So I had no choice. So I had to go in and I had to put my personal feelings aside and at least see if it was an okay and competent game. And at times, it is. But it's also really, really bizarre because it's just so soulless. It lacks the charm. It also does something in terms of in-game monetization that is just completely unacceptable, but I'll get to that. It also just makes me so mad because I also say oh, what if this game didn't have the Metal Gear name on it? I think I would ultimately say the same thing where there are some aspects that there's a lot of fun to be had, but then there's a lot of aspects of it that are just shitty and cynical and gross and poorly balanced. I'm falling into my chair. So here's the deal. I think structure-wise, and I'm not the biggest fan of survival games, structure-wise, it's fine. I think it's a little bit unbalanced. It's a little bit crushing at first, and most survival games are, but this one to a crazy extent with the amount your hunger and thirst depletes. It's just tedious and annoying. It's so annoying and stupid. It's obtuse, but just not even just for the sake of being obtuse. It's not even a self-aware obtuse like how some games are. It is just kind of a disaster in that regard. The menus are hideous and annoying to go through. All the stuff, the thirst, the oxygen, the resources to manage are a pain in the ass to do. It's not intuitive. It actually feels like a step down from a lot of the menus and stuff from Metal Gear Solid 5. And it just makes it a chore because a lot of that stuff, a lot of those survival elements, like managing those things, feels like it's just in the way to get you from doing the next thing that you have to do. And the problem is that the stuff you actually do want to get through, the hunger stuff and get to do, isn't that good in the first place. Most of it's all glorified fetch quests, which is bizarre, especially because when you fire up the game, you have to watch a half-hour long cutscene. And this is a Metal Gear game, not by Hideo Kojima, and yet they're trying to emulate and replicate that same thing, this weird, bizarre cinematic feel. And they try a little bit with the setup cutscenes, but it's just so forgettable. None of it really matters. The story is clearly trying to replicate the style of Metal Gear Solid, even just from the aspect of there's big long cutscenes, and then there are extra long cutscenes that are just kind of slideshows that just pour exposition at you. They do that here. They basically almost do codec radio conversations. But even those are just so obtuse and slow and annoying that you just don't care. It almost seems like the game tries to do so many things to make you not give a shit, and that is a total bummer. Because I think there are little bits here and there that are fun. I will say that, and I know a lot of Metal Gear fans don't want to hear that. Ultimately, I'm not the biggest fan of the game. I think it's kind of lame, but there are bits of fun to be had. There are competent moments. The base building stuff and actually fighting off and defending against waves of zombies, that can be kind of fun. I don't think the melee combat works very well here. It's not fit in well with the Metal Gear gameplay engine that revolves solely, mostly around shooting, but it's fine. Poking zombies through a fence with a stick that you built yourself is kind of satisfying. The problem is that you don't care about the world, you don't care about the characters. The world is just a boring rehash of Metal Gear Solid 5's Africa and Afghanistan, down to actual buildings and layouts you will come across. But then, defending bases, especially in co-op online with friends, can actually get kind of fun. Like any other game with that similar formula. I'd rather play something like Fortnite, but that's just me. But then there's the save slot thing, which bothers me, I would say, more than a lot of the microtransaction and loot box stuff lately. I think this one pushes it so far, and it's so shitty. The fact that you have to use in-game points to essentially buy and unlock a save point, and for a majority of the game, there's no way to get these points other than to buy them with real-world monies, which means that 10 real-world dollars equals the cost of an extra save slot, an extra character slot. And I think that's bullshit. That still would piss me off. I feel like as someone buying a product, you should have a right to be able to save the game. I don't know. That's just such a core pillar of video games as a thing, as software, as a product. Would you buy Photoshop and then have to spend extra money to save a file in 1080p. Like, that's like crazy to me. No other place would push that. Yet video games are, and Konami especially. So of course. Then of course there's just the greater picture, the fact that this is a game with Metal Gear on the cover that I don't care about. I wasn't excited for it. I've played it. I think there are moments that it's okay, but ultimately it's garbage. Oh fuck, the disc was in there. Shit. I think that's the saddest thing, and I actually haven't really had time to stop and think about it until this video. That's kind of why I did it. It's might be the last Metal Gear game. And the fact that it's like this like cynical cash grab, you know, survival games are so been there, done that. Some people still love them, but they were really hot for a while and companies tried to jump on it. And Konami is the last one. And they did it with our favorite game series, or some of our favorite game series. I think that sucks, dude. That's bad. Like, that's all I can say. And you know what? There are some people out there that are having fun with this game. Maybe they're casual. Maybe they just don't pay attention to Hideo Kojima and Konami, and they just like the Metal Gear name and they jump on that. And you know what? If you're having fun and you're innocent, that's fine. Cool, man. I'm happy for you. But I'm not into it. But is this the last gasp of Metal Gear? That's the big question. You know, I was hoping like, oh, maybe Metal Gear's in good hands. Maybe it'll be okay by a different team. I still stand by the fact that I don't want more Metal games if they don't have Hideo Kojima's involvement. I think it sucks that he was kicked to the curb, essentially. I get that he's probably very tough to work with, but still, it's his series, it's his franchise, and that's just a really fucking unfortunate situation, because if they make a Metal Gear 6 or whatever, I really don't want it. I will check it out. I will try and go in with an open mind, but I will not be able to separate it, you know? And I think that's only human nature. I get it. If like you are invested in this type of stuff, it is very hard to do so. I think I'll get more in another video what I would want from the Metal Gear series in the future, but I know I don't want Metal Gear Survive at all. What a way to come back on my channel talking shit about a game, right? But at least it's Metal Gear. I don't know. So I've been kind of on a little break from this channel. We had to move. We've changed locations for Game Ranks, the video crew. The plan is for 2018 here to do more videos, put more videos out, and generally kind of just talk about whatever I want to talk about. So buckle up. Sometimes it's not going to be the newest game or the newest movie, but just kind of whatever I'm feeling if it's a slow month. But if you are still around, I am really appreciative that you have stuck around. But as for now, I'm going to go finish decorating the walls and stuff. Thank you guys for sticking around. As always, I'm Jake Baldino. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe because video games.